Unit 2, Lesson 4, a recipe for purple oobleck. Your warm-up today is number talk, so I want you to explain how you would solve 6 times 15, 12 times 15, 6 times 45, and 13 times 45. If you think about number 1, 6 times 15, you can take 6 times 10, which is 60, and 6 times 5, which is 30, and add those together to get 90. So that's one way that you can do that. So when you look at activity 1, making oobleck. Oobleck is a substance called a suspension, which can mimic the qualities of both a solid and liquid. Here are diagrams representing 3 possible recipes for making oobleck using cornstarch and water. So in recipe A, there are 2 cups of cornstarch for 1 cup of water. B is 4 cups of cornstarch for 1 cup of water. And C is 4 cups of cornstarch for 2 cups of water. How might the texture of oobleck made from recipe A compare to the texture of the oobleck made in recipe B? Well, notice that you have more cornstarch in recipe B than you do A, but the water hasn't changed. So the more oobleck, or the more cornstarch you have, it's going to make it thicker. So B would be thicker. And I apologize for my finger not writing on this. So we look at number 2. Use the diagram to complete each pair of statements. It says A, recipe A uses blank cups of cornstarch and blank cups of water. So if you remember, in A, they have 2 cups of cornstarch to 1 cup of water. So the ratio of cups of cornstarch to the cups of water in recipe A is 2 to 1. Recipe C has 4 cups of cornstarch with 2 cups of water. So the ratio of that recipe would be 4 to 2. My finger is not working with this program, and I'm so sorry. So number 3 says, how might the texture of oobleck made from recipe A compare to the texture in oobleck made from recipe C? Well, if you look at the example here, what can I multiply by 2 to get 4? Well, that's 2. And what can I multiply by 1 to get 2? Well, that's 2. So because I multiply both parts of that by 2, it would be the same. Okay. So for part 2 in activity 1, it says refer to the recipe D shown here. So there are 5 cups of cornstarch and 2 cups of water. You are to write a ratio of cornstarch to water in recipe D. So that would be cornstarch. There are 5 boxes of cornstarch, 2, my 2 dots, 2 water. So again, describe the consistency of oobleck made from recipe D. Because it has more cornstarch, it's going to be thicker. It's going to be a thick substance. What could be done to fix recipe D so the oobleck would have the same consistency as oobleck in recipe A? You cannot remove any ingredients that is already added to the mixture. You can only add. So think about recipe A. There was 2 cornstarch for 1 cup of water. Here we have 5 to 2. So if we can't take anything away, to make 2 to 1 and 2 to 1, I'd have to add 1 more cornstarch, 1 cornstarch, and 1 water to make it even. Using your fix, write a ratio. So if I add 1 more cornstarch, that would be 6 cornstarch to 3 water. And what do you notice about ratios for recipes A, C, and E? They are equal. 2 times 3 is 6. 1 times 3 is 3. 2 times, already said that. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3. So they're all equal. On your own, I'd like you to do activity 2. This is about coloring your oobleck. Answer those 7 questions here. And then when you're finished, I'm going to read the summary for you. It says, you explored different combinations of cornstarch and water and red and blue food coloring. You were able to create different textures and different colors. You realized that some combinations created the same texture or color and compared the ratio of other ingredients using diagrams and numeric values. A ratio is a comparison of 2 quantities, such that for every A units of one quantity, there are B units in another quantity. So that is our ratio. And it's not underlining. And it's also our sentence frame, which I will share with you as well. The diagram shows the ratio of red paint to white paint in a single batch, double batch, and a triple batch. These ratios are equivalent because they all represent the same paint color or the same ratio of red paint to white paint. For your homework for today, I want you to do page 161, which gives you lesson 1, problem 2, and problem 3 for you to do. You do not need to do 4, 5, and 6 on page 2. If you have any questions, please email me and I will help you out. Have a good day.